What if I told you that India does not just have billionaires, but entire markets where one or two players effectively decide prices, choices, and survival? Think about your mobile network, your online shopping app, your search engine, or even booking a railway ticket. On the surface, it appears competitive. But behind the scenes, market concentration in India has risen sharply over the last decade, raising serious economic and democratic concerns. A monopoly exists when a single firm or a very small group of firms dominates a market and gains the power to control prices, supply, and consumer choice. According to standard economic definitions used by OECD and World Bank, high market concentration weakens consumer welfare even if prices are initially low. In India, pure monopolies are rare, but dominant players with monopoly like power are increasingly common. This dominance is visible in data. Studies by the Economic Survey of India noted clear rise in market concentration across manufacturing and services, warning that too much concentration can reduce competition and harm long term growth. Globally, India mirrors a worrying trend where profits and market share are increasingly captured by very few large firms, while smaller firms stagnate or exit. Such dominance does not arise accidentally. In India, monopolies grow through high entry barriers, access to massive capital, control over data and distribution networks, regulatory delays, and sometimes close proximity to political power. India's competition watchdog, the Competition Commission of India, categorizes this as abuse of dominant position, which includes predatory pricing, exclusive agreements, and denial of market access. However, enforcement often comes after competitors are already eliminated, making remedies largely symbolic. State monopolies form one part of this story. The most visible example is the Indian Railways, which carries over 8 billion passengers annually, making it the world's fourth largest rail network. While such monopoly is justified due to massive infrastructure cost and national integration, reports by the Comptroller and Auditor General have repeatedly highlighted inefficiency, safety gaps, delays, and poor asset utilization. With no competition, accountability relies entirely on internal reform rather than consumer pressure. Corporate concentration is even more striking in private markets. Telecom is the clearest example. In 2012, India had more than 12 telecom operators after aggressive price was triggered by the entry of Reliance Jio in 2016. The market effectively shrank to three players, with two dominating most subscribers. According to TRI data, Jio and Airtel together now control over 70% of the telecom market. While the data prices initially fell to among the lowest in the world, tariffs have been rising steadily since 2021 once competition weakened. This follows a classic economic pattern: predatory pricing first, market power later. The most powerful monopolies today, however, are digital and largely invisible. Google controls over 95% of India's search engine market, according to StatCounter data, and dominates mobile ecosystem through Android. The Competition Commission of India has fined Google multiple times for abusing dominance, including forcing app developers into restrictive practices. Similarly, e-commerce platforms like Amazon and Flipkart together account for the majority of India's online retail traffic. Government-backed studies and parliamentary committee reports have flagged concerns about self-preferencing, preferential sellers, deep discounting, and algorithmic bias which disadvantage small traders and startups. The impact of such monopolization is measurable. According to the Oxfam India Inequality Report, the top 1% in India owns over 40% of the country's wealth. While MSMEs, India's largest employment generator, face declining profitability. Data from the Ministry of MSME shows that over 6,000 MSMEs shut down daily during peak competitive stress periods, often unable to survive price wars or platform dependency. Innovation also suffers. OECD research shows that markets with high concentration invest less in research and development over time once dominance is secured. Beyond economics, monopoly power distorts democracy. Large corporations gain disproportionate influence over policy making, media narratives, and regulatory design. This phenomena, often described as crony capitalism, has been flagged by international indices such as Transparency International and World Economic Forum. When economic power concentrates, political equality weakens, even if electoral democracy formally survives. India's legal framework, primarily the Competition Act 2002, was designed to prevent exactly this outcome. Yet, the gap between law and reality remains wide. Competition Commission of India suffers from lengthy adjudication timelines, relatively modest penalties compared to corporate revenues, and limited capacity to regulate fast-moving digital markets. By the time corrective action is taken, competitors are often already pushed out and consumers are locked into dominant platforms. In the final analysis, monopoly in India is not merely a question of prices or profits. It's a question of economic resilience and democratic balance. Short-term efficiency and low prices cannot justify long-term concentration of power. India's growth story will remain incomplete if it relies on few giants while millions of small businesses struggle to survive. True competition, robust regulation, and fair market access are essential not just for economic efficiency but for preserving the democratic promise of equal opportunity. Tell me your opinion about how monopoly can impact consumers. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Jai Hind.